disease, and deformity as something trendy. But by not speaking out, we have only ourselves to blame. Rob Dew reporting for INFOWARS.com and PrisonPlanet.tv.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At INFOWARS Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. INFOWARSLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at INFOWARSLife.com. Now, INFOWARSLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from INFOWARSLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at INFOWARSLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding and making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.
A Border Patrol agent has testified that the Department of Homeland Security is deliberately fudging data to hoodwink the American public into believing that the border is secure, when in reality it is overrun, with 60% of all illegal crossers going uncaptured.
Out there in our areas of operation, we leave large swaths of land uncovered, maybe 20, 30 miles at times. I've been told by our chief of our sector that we are going to bleed heavily on our flanks at all of our stations. The western flank usually gets neglected because we don't have enough manpower to get out there. Our agents will count the foot sign, they will call it in, and at the end of the day, the numbers get manipulated so that it doesn't show up correctly.
One time I asked the sheriff, I said, can we go sit down on the border all night long with your scope truck and see what we see? In 6 hours, we saw one Border Patrol agent. You know, if I had to estimate, I could not prove this, but I would estimate that 50% of people coming across that ranch at least are not apprehended.
My great-grandmother and my grandmother grew up right alongside the river, and what my grandmother would tell me was when she was young, people would come up and they would give them food, and they would, you know, feed them, give them some water, let them sit in the shade for a little bit, and then they'd send them on their way. Now the same people that live down there on that border, they say it's a different type of people that are coming. It's a different generation that's coming through. Now when they see people walking up the gravel road, they go inside, they shutter the windows, and they lock the doors, and they just don't want any part of it. Not because of some sense of country or whatever the case may be. It's a sense of personal safety.
These ranchers and farmers and these citizens that live in these vulnerable areas are afraid to leave their homes. For fact, they'd be breaking into Scott Arena, for example. I'll speak on his behalf. He's been broken in 4 or 5 times. One time holding the door closed while they're trying to break in.
Growing up in the valley, we spent a great deal of time on the river. You go down, you ski, you swim, you picnic, you camp out. People had camp cabins, people had portable trailers down there that they kept. It was a very relaxed atmosphere. If you go down the river right now, you will see it's all gone. It is all gone. No one does any of that anymore. No one. And there's a reason. It's not the immigrants, it's the cartel. But I heard
we're not even prosecuting, for example, marijuana smugglers unless they have at least 500 pounds of marijuana. We don't bother prosecuting. And the jurisdictional battles is, I don't want to touch that prosecution, you take care of it.
Teenagers are an example. I think we have 4 or 5 in our jail right now that are remanded juveniles that have been arrested, picked up. We actually remand them as adults and put them in our center to prosecute them. The federal government won't prosecute them.
Again, so the drug traffickers use teenagers because
they won't prosecute. And I was talking to the sheriff in Yuma, Sheriff Wilmot, last night. There's an issue right now where those illegals that have child pornography, they won't prosecute.
Some of our agents that get assaulted, if it doesn't meet the threshold, if he doesn't have enough blood or bruising, they don't prosecute. Some of these people that were coming, they could have taken the bridge. They could have come across through the port of entry, asked for amnesty or what's the word I'm looking for, credible fear, and it would have been granted, and they would have broken no laws. But the smugglers control who crosses where. If a group of immigrants are walking towards the bridge, the cartels will come up and say, look, you're not crossing that bridge, you're going to go through this river. No, well, I'd rather cross through the bridge. Well, you don't have a choice. You're going to cross through here at this point, at this time, when we tell you, and on top of that, you're going to pay us. And they send them across when they want to send them across, where they want to send them across, because they know it's going to tie up our resources. And in doing so, then they can do the end around and run some either high-level, high-interest illegal aliens or some drugs around the backside when all of our agents are tied up with a group of, say, 80, 90, or 100 people trying to get them sorted out.
We spend more money on these kids as they come across than we spend on our own people.
Breitbart News has acquired an advance of Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow Robert Rector's upcoming testimony before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. He states that the lifetime costs of Social Security and Medicare benefits of illegal immigrant beneficiaries of President Obama's executive amnesty would be well over $1 trillion. DAPA recipients would earn $7.8 billion annually due to the Earned Income Tax Credit and the additional Child Tax Credit. Retroactive costs of the EITC and the ACTC, with the IRS policy allowing illegals to claim up to 3 years of tax benefits for illegal work, could be an estimated $23.5 billion. Rector points out that the average DAPA-eligible family already receives around $6,600 per year in means-tested welfare benefits prior to Obama's executive action. That aggregate cost is around $13.4 billion per year. Rector argues that future legislation could eventually make DAPA-eligible families able to get coverage under Obamacare at a cost of $14 billion annually. Rector also states, on average, the combined cost of means-tested welfare benefits currently received, the EITC and the ACTC cash, and potential Obamacare benefits would come to $17,800 per year per DAPA family. The aggregate cost to the taxpayer would be over $35 billion per year.
But I think it's time America gets alarmed. They've already come through here. It's us as the humanitarian crisis, and it's an OTM crisis. Just take out the factor of the women and children. It's an other than Mexican crisis right now. We're, being invaded by third world country people, and in those third world country people are the special interest aliens, and our borders are porous. They feel like they're wide open right now, and that's a dangerous scenario.
But I did discover, and I think this is laid out very clearly in the blog, that among the human trafficking going on in Belize is a large number of Lebanese males coming into the country with passports from Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and are given brand new identities, brand new names, and using handlers handled off ultimately into America with a very dangerous package. Now that surprised me, that shocked me.
Well, and the thing is that, it's coming through down here, but it's not necessarily going to affect down here because we're not really a good target. There's nothing down here worth blowing up. But you get up into, say, the Austin or the New York or the Boston or, any major city, Dallas, and that's where the target is. So, unfortunately, it's not going to, unfortunately, I guess, it's not going to happen down here. We're just watching the parade go by, and whatever happens is going to happen somewhere big where it's going to affect the rest of the world, not just us. Yeah, well, and I'm thankful to you guys in the media, because you guys are really putting the word out when the Border Patrol is really trying to stifle everything, and if people really knew what was going on down here, they'd be held to pay.
John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high-quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.
Joe Biggs here with INFOWARS.com. Now I'm going to go over an outline about an upcoming operation that'll be led by the U.S. Army Special Operations Command, which has under that the U.S. Navy SEALs, Air Force Commandos, Green Berets, Delta Force, 82nd Airborne, Marine Expeditionary Fighting Forces. This will be a large-scale operation on American soil. Let's take a look at what that means. I'm here to talk about a massive military drill that will be conducted on American soil from July 15th to September 15th of this year. U.S. Army Special Operations Command calls this operation Jade Helm 15. The logo for this operation has a shoe standing on crossed arrows over a sword that says, "Master the Human Domain." This shocking operation is about a brutal martial law takeover of what SOCOM calls hostile states. Both Texas and Utah have been painted red. In the legend, it states that red is a hostile area. Now, why is the federal government calling Utah and Texas hostile? Is it because we're awake to the tyranny in Washington, or is it because we're pro-gun patriots who love the Constitution? We know that large portions of the military come from these two states, and our government has clearly come out and stated that returning vets are its #1 threat. Operation Jade Helm 15 will be conducted over 8 weeks to train U.S. Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Air Force Special Ops, and USMC Special Ops, along with my old unit, the 82nd Airborne. Now, these troops will be preparing for unconventional warfare. Unconventional warfare consists of activities conducted to go after a resistance movement or insurgency. This is a straight-up, in-your-face training to target American citizens who are part of this fast-growing liberty movement. They aren't playing around, people. They know that constitutionalists will stand up. They see us as a threat to their powerhouse. They know that Texas could break away and become its own. That's why they are coming here. They are saying this operation will be conducted in Texas because Texans support military operations. Yeah, we support men and women who go after the bad guys, not when it's American citizens. They're trying to force vaccines on us. They're trying to take our guns, and they want to ban the ammo. They are making moves to prepare for a complete and total takeover. We need to wake up. Right in the SOCOM document, it clearly states that operations will be conducted outside of government-owned land. This means your backyard, people. They say this exercise will be used to hone advanced skills with low populations with access to the towns. They will be operating in and out around the communities where anything out of the ordinary will be spotted and reported. They say this is an opportunity to work with civilians to gain their trust and have an understanding of the issues. David Knight and I went and showed you the Asymmetric Warfare Training Center at Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia. That was a large martial law training facility. This was like a small urban town to scale with a subway, church, mosque, soccer field, torture chambers, traffic circles, stoplights, and so much more. And there's also another one in North Carolina that is used by the Marines. You know, in the military, they say you train how you fight, and you also train in areas similar to the theater of your operation. These urban warfare sites that look like rural America keep popping up all across our country, and now they want to actually bring one to a real community with people. This is not a mock setup. This is a real town. Now, residents, don't be alarmed if you see an increase in aircraft activity. It's just 1,200 special operations troops blazing overhead in helicopters. They say that this increased aircraft activity will be at nighttime. Now, what happens at nighttime, you might ask? Well, me being a former Army vet of both Iraq and Afghanistan, I can tell you one thing, that the Special Forces do snatch and grabs at nighttime. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to desensitize